Welcome to Grey Propaganda, where we discuss the lies, falsehoods, and politics of the day. Today we have an article from Fox. Bush stays silent on how he will plan to vote in 2024 by Michael Lee. He writes, Bush previously supported the campaigns of McCain and Romney. Now, Bush doesn't plan to endorse Trump. When asked if he plans to reveal who he's going to vote for, he simply says no. This comes just days after CHENEY said he plans to support, that's right, Kamala, not Trump, but CHENEY plans to support Kamala Harris over Trump. These people are just plain sinister. They clearly care more about their family wealth, their fragile egos, than supporting someone who aligns with their political beliefs. I don't even know if they have any political beliefs other than elevating themselves up and above the average citizen in wealth, status, and fame. Trump blasted back and called CHENEY an irrelevant rhino, and I would assume he thinks of the Bush family in a similar fashion. That's probably the nicest words I would have for them. But let's take a look at the video before diving into the article.
Texas Republican Senator John Cornyn. Welcome to Fox News Sunday.
Great to be with you.
So I know last year during the primary season, you had some concerns about whether President Trump was the right way forward for the party. You wanted to know whether he can expand beyond his fervent base, which is clearly sticking with him. Do you think he's done enough to build a coalition outside of that? What does he need to do Tuesday night?
Well, I think he needs to let Kamala Harris talk, something she's been reluctant to do unless she's reading a teleprompter. And I think we've seen the polls very close, but mainly she's coming off of this, as James Carville called it, a sugar high after the coup d'etat that was committed against Joe Biden. And then, of course, the convention. So I'm looking forward to a repetition of the good debate performance that President Trump had with President Biden. And I think he's up to it.
So after that change at the top of the ticket, there's been a lot of new enthusiasm, new fundraising, and there is talk about how that's impacting down ballot. Politico says that Republicans are starting to get a little concerned about the fundraising gap, saying this: panic is starting to set in. The only thing preventing us from having a great night in November is the massive financial disparity our party currently faces. That's from the executive director of the National Republican Senatorial Committee. He says, unless something changes drastically in the next 6 weeks, we will lose winnable seats. Are you worried about this down ballot impact on efforts by the GOP to retake the Senate?
Well, fundraising is important, but so are the issues, so are the quality of the candidates. And I think we have an outstanding group of candidates running for the Senate. I'm optimistic about our chances to regain the majority. And I hope they have enough money to defend themselves and to talk about what they are for, what they would do if elected. I'm confident they will, but the money's just astronomical. It just blows my mind.
It really is. I mean, when you watch these ticking in, the millions that have come in just to the presidential race, hundreds of millions just the last few weeks. Of course, you are in the running to replace Mitch McConnell as the Senate's top Republican. What will your priorities be should you achieve that post? And how might that differ if you're dealing with a Harris-Walz administration versus a Trump-Vance administration?
Well, when President Trump is reelected, along with my colleague J.D. Vance, I expect we'll be helping the administration pass their agenda. And I don't see a lot of daylight between what Republicans in the Senate want to do or know we need to do. Things like reauthorize the expiring provisions of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. We need to reestablish our nation as the preeminent leader in the world when it comes to national security matters under President Biden. Our friends don't trust us and our enemies don't fear us. It was the opposite under President Trump.
Now, the article begins with former President Bush does not plan to reveal whom he will vote for in the 2024 election. No, the former president's office said when asked by NBC reporter whether he or First Lady Laura Bush would endorse a candidate publicly. President Bush retired from presidential politics years ago. Bush's refusal to make a public endorsement comes just a day after his former VP, Dick Cheney, announced that he would go against the party's candidate and support VP Kamala Harris in November. In our nation's 248-year history, there has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump, Cheney said in a statement. He tried to steal the last election using lies and violence to keep himself in power after the voters had rejected him. He can never be trusted with power again. It continues with Trump responded to Cheney's endorsement by calling the former VP an irrelevant rhino in a Truth Social post shortly after Cheney's announcement. Speaking to reporters Sunday, Harris said she was honored to have Cheney's endorsement. Yeah, I'm sure she would have different words for Cheney if she didn't have his endorsement about his character and his former policies. But continuing with adding that it really enforces for them that we love our country and we have more in common than what separates. The Harris campaign did not immediately respond to Fox News' digital request for comment on Bush's silence. While Bush's office argued the former president retired from presidential politics years ago, he has made endorsements of Republican presidential candidates in the past. In 2008, he supported then Senator McCain against Barack Obama. He also supported in 2012 Romney. So kind of wishy-washy about who he chooses to support. Bush's stance on presidential politics seemingly changed with the emergence of former President Donald Trump in 2016, whom Bush avoided commenting on. Bush instead focused on supporting the Republican senators in that year. In November, his office said that he and the former First Lady do not vote for either major party candidate in the 2016 election. After Trump's failed bid for re-election in 2020, Bush said that he had written in former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice in that year's race. The Trump campaign did not immediately respond to Fox News' digital request for a comment. That's all I have for you. Thanks for listening. See you next time.